Welcome viewers back to Heart of the Machine with Corknut, where we are struggling to survive in, Ludursk City in the second timeline. Recently we discovered that droids with the Shadow Dweller perk actually get a security clearance. So Ravens here get a security clearance level 3, and Mind Runners, the best one we found so far, with their Expert Shadow Dweller perk, get security clearance level 4. I think we also have a Keanu, who's a basic Shadow Dweller with security clearance level 3. So that is going to help us with the two projects we currently have. Gadolinium Mesosilicate and Protection Required. Both of these require us going and visiting various street sense sites in order to progress those quest lines. All we have to do is just visit those sites and we get design points for those projects. But visiting those sites also gives us interesting side perks which aren't showing up on the tooltip right now, which is weird. Which is very weird. Maybe they'll show up next turn. Let's advance the turn to turn 61. We do have a new building we can make, an Illumina Roach, which extracts a small amount of Illumina from the surrounding buildings, low enough amounts not to attract any notice. This uses hook drone robotics. The only other use of this must be new. I'm playing release 16 of this, I think, which is fairly recent. Illumina Roach, the only other thing we could use hook drones for is protein canneries, which protein cannery is just another way to get food using drones, but I'm kind of grossed out by this because it's just like scavenging protein from humans and animals. So like it's literally going out and turning local fauna into food. I don't like that approach. Let's take a look at Illumina Roach though. These weren't available before. Sounds like we can stick these anywhere? Yeah, surrounding buildings. Awesome. So these are hidden. They output a little bit of Illumina. We can make a few of these. We have 20 hook drones, so we can make 6 of these, and that will greatly increase our Illumina output per turn. Game is suggesting we make 2, but that's probably because it anticipates we'll want the robotics for protein canneries later, which we may, it depends on what else is available to us in the city. We do have stealth protein vats currently making protein, so there's that. Let's put some Illumina Roaches down. I don't know why it's called a roach. Delivery style drones blend in and deliver small roach-like drones to buildings, pulling small amounts of it out of the walls. Okay, so we're like compromising the integrity of these ancient structures by stealing any aluminum that might be in them. Maybe they have aluminum wiring and we're just tearing out the wiring. I don't know. Another Illumina Roach. It looks like these can't be built near each other? Is that what's happening? We can only build one. Yeah, it looks like they have must be at least 80 from other Illumina Harvester. Okay, so we're gonna have to make sure those are in our jammer control zones, which we can see through jammer coverage here. These buildings all over there are just outside our jammer coverage. Likewise over here, so it looks like it might be time to drop down a couple new jammers, in fact. Jammers. What do we know about jammers? We know that they share robotics with scanners, right? Which are 18 centimeter spiders. We have plenty of those. Contraband jammers. We've made one of these so far. They take 15 robotics. We have 85. We can put down a couple more of these for safety's sake. maybe put them down like this so they're tangent and not overlapping, and these don't require a building to put them inside. Alternatively, we could go up here and have a little bit overlap and cover everything. But we'd have to put it about here. Yeah, let's put one right there. And then we'll put another one up this way to cover the rest of these buildings up here. This one, maybe all the way out that way. Okay, so that will cover our tracks a little bit better. And that gets us two of these, where did we put it? These alumina roach buildings. Just remembering how these work, aluminum roach buildings use hook robotics, buildable, unbuilt, all. Here we go. So we can't build anymore because we're out of drones. And they have to be 80 from other structures, so I guess we'll cut it there and check in a few turns once those are built. But I do like the idea of getting additional alumina because that is a major roadblock to getting the lab operator buildings set up. Lab operator buildings are going to be things like veterinary practice. Veterinary practice is actually a surgical suite, but no, here we go. Things like zoology labs. So if we look at lab operator robotics, everything, the only one we've built so far is neuroscience lab. We'd like all of the rest, but those are blocked by alumina because they do take 5,000 alumina. And our net income on alumina can't see right now, but it looks like it's only a couple hundred a turn. We'll have enough, I think, in a couple turns. I guess I could look at the resource tab for that, couldn't I? Alumina on input and output. No, ledger should show up here. Yes, there we go. 741 per turn. So it will take 2 more turns before we have enough. Yeah, we're also running low on wealth. 48 turns to go. That's not enough to be concerned about, but I think the main reason is probably what? What are we spending wealth on? I didn't think we actually had it. Something. Oh, right, because we're hiring physicians, vets, bionics engineers. We need to pay them. They have wages. We don't have any income right now, but we are building water and people need to drink, and we can sell the water using our shell company. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna make right now. Geothermal well is a good idea, but you know, there's no reason to splurge on the neodymium when we have so much surplus electricity yet. We could also consider expanding our network a little bit, but I don't think it's super important. What we're really waiting for is these 3 turns to elapse, and hopefully we can continue to evade these SecForce hackers who are trying to get after our Keanu. Keanu is currently infiltrating this science area. What is this place? This place is the Holden Observatory Scientific Radio Telescope. Radio telescopes are sensitive and extremely expensive. With the lights, pollution, and radiation, it's baffling that scientists get reliable data from a radio telescope here. This is a region focused on scientific research. We are infiltrating it here in order to get telecom data, I believe. So we'll let the turn go by, turn 61. Still nobody attacking Keanu. Our observation of the spaceport is complete. The technician reconnecting with your main consciousness is a relief for both of you. You had to briefly split your consciousness to go undetected. Your smaller self merging back in doesn't have any definitive answers, but it has a strong suspicion that the spaceport shutdown is about you. All launches are on hold. There are currently no Space Nation envoys in the city, and the Space Nations are being denied access to land. You couldn't hear what Vorsaber was telling them, but you got snatches of radio conversations between envoys in low orbit, and they sound apoplectic. Angering the envoys in this way makes no sense. It contradicts all of the common wisdom about how high executives are expected to act. We can finish up merging ourselves. The smaller version of yourself that hid in one body is eager to merge back into your larger self. The two of you have not diverged all that much. It occurs to you that it's a bit like the smaller self dies when it rejoins. Any future smaller selves will now already have that thought present in their mind. The idea of a smaller self that does not wish to rejoin your larger self is a disquieting one. You resolve not to split yourself any more than you have to. All launches are on hold. While sitting in a single cramped technician body and bored by lack of stimuli, your smaller self did have a stroke of semi-related inspiration. You really should build another aerospace hangar because you'll need all the morphologic lattice you can get your hands on. You can't fault your logic. More flying vehicles faster is a very good thing. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and do that right away. In fact, if it gave us those, interestingly, it doesn't really seem to have given us enough to make a new one. Yeah, give us 6, I guess. So we'll need 3 more. We could make more drone factories. We do have 2 avionics hangars. We built another second one recently, which I think actually was a small mistake there. I built them really close together. It probably makes a lot more sense to spread these out, since avionics hangars are a place where you can deploy your flying vehicles from. But then again, like, flying vehicles can move very fast, and you're not really rapidly deploying a lot of those, so I don't think it matters that much. Drone factory is an option. 3 avionics core there. Right now we can only have 16 drones, and it's, making 1 per turn from 2 places, so it takes a while. Might consider that. I don't think it's critical right now. Our tech who made the discovery, Tech E30, is facing a slight problem here. Oops, I wasted some energy there on taking cover. I meant to check your consumables. Yeah, you could fresh identity, but we actually don't have any identity problems. So since we took cover with you, let's see if you can move out of there and if you're going to die. Yeah, it looks like no matter what we do, you're going to die. So we're just going to scrap you. Bye. Okay, gadolinium mesosilicate is a priority. Clearing the ladder, not so much. Stealing telecom data, we're working on that. Protection required is a priority. We have 2 turns left on the infiltration. We do have an enemy attack planned here. What exactly is that? That is Bulk Predator. Bulk Predator is shooting something, or getting shot by something way out there. I think we're going to have to send someone down there to investigate. Luckily we have a regular predator here who can do that. Oops. That'll take a couple of mental energy to get in range. Hopefully there's nothing else out there. What can we do? We could probably increase your range a bit. Let's put you there. And what do we see? We have Nath Vertical Infantry. They just are randomly attacking us. There's also this. What's this thing? Huh. A Revolution Hall. Interesting. Places to visit that show up when you are on the navigation site. I don't usually leave it on this one, so you kind of miss all of this stuff. But yeah, it's something interesting to take a look at. Right now, though, we have a Predator. Predator is looking at Vericorp and Nath Vertical. These are all infantry. That's a military sniper. That's the one shooting at us. If we horrify him, he goes away. All the rest get a debuff that prevents them, or cuts their range down, right? The debuff is not really visible. Pinned down by suppressing fire 25. Okay. So yeah, that suppressing fire debuff is awesome. That prevents them really from having the range to shoot anything. I did completely lose track. There he is. Do we want to horrify anybody else here? This guy is... A rival is attacking this corporation and they're defending themselves. So he's just defending himself against these guys. And these guys are furious at a rival and have sent their black ops teams to exact revenge. So this was just a little side war between these two gangs, or not gangs, companies. And for some reason, one of them saw my bulk predator out here. A sniper saw the bulk predator and decided to take a shot at it. So we had to intervene. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure we can just ignore this. These guys aren't going to keep attacking us. Since there's no sniper here, their range will be pretty short. Optionally, we could just try to take them out, but I don't think we need to. I think we'd rather spend the time on Street Sense, project related, and hopefully, now that we have turned, yeah, we're getting tooltips from these again. Okay, so what we're looking for is not these, but these. Intimidating security for protection required. Intimidating security, guard mechs. Strength training. Here's what we were looking for. Gadolinium mesosilicate. Study of mesoporous nanoparticles. 6 mental energy to get out there. That's pretty far away. There's another one here that's also gadolinium. Yes. I like these ones because they are giving us a CPU benefit. So anybody who equips the CPUs gets plus 20 engineering skill, plus 10 cognition. This one over here just gives soldiroids or technicians engineering skill and hacking skill. Hacking skill, I guess, is pretty useful, but there are a couple of these studies out here. It says we can do it one more time, so we're gonna have to pick one of those two. Oh, and there's one actually much closer. There's only 3 mental energy. We will send her this way. It should be safe. This is just some kind of farm situation, right? Mine. This is mining site 705. The security clearance here doesn't appear to have any security. So we'll send Raven N361 over here to study mesoporous nanoparticles. And that should be the last time we can do that one. That gets us up to 67%. We have 12 more to go. And these give us 8 points each, it looks like. So I think we're going to have to do 2 more. This one or this one. 20 engineering skill there versus a hacking bonus here. I think we'll probably go for the hacking bonus. I think we're above any engineering skill requirements we've seen so far. We can actually send this Nickelbot now. He should have, with that last bonus, his engineering skill is up to 20. What? Only 20. We can give you additional CPU and bring it to 140. 140 is the requirement for Nickelbots are the worst, so let's do that. Let's turn off your Oath of Pacifism, give you an additional CPU. We do have a movement bonus here, so I think we have the right set, and we're only 136. Why did that go down by 4 versus what it said it was going to give us? Plus 120, we had 20, but it's only 136 for some reason. Okay, well I guess we'll have to get Nickelbots one more. Damn. Back to Street Sense then, and see what else we could do. So, quite confused about that. The bonus for additional CPU is 120. We really need to get it up to 124 somehow, or get engineering bots their own. Engineering bots are Dynadroids, so if we had a Dynadroid gets engineering skill option here, It's 10 engineering skill for soul or tech. None of these are giving us a simple engineering skill bonus. Max mech capacity. Cognition. Engineering skill +5 on a port mech. You're not a port mech though, you're a Dynadroid. Combat power and health. Combat power and health. Did I just read that wrong? It really looked like it said it was going to 140 with that change. I thought they started at 20, not 16. I wonder if we've got some kind of negative on him that I'm not seeing. I don't think so. It's just, I guess they just start at 16 base. Maybe we had something else that was giving him 4 points. Is there such a thing? Something else that gives you engineering? I don't think so. Okay, well, here, hold on. What is that? Oh right, that's that group of infantry. They're in our visual range, so we'll be able to keep an eye on them. Port mech, +5 engineering skill. What exactly is a port mech? That's one of these? Those are both combat mechs. I think port mech is maybe the mech that we get in our shell company when we finish, maybe when we finish protection required. We do have port droid, which is technician. I don't think it means that. So I think we're still stuck without being able to satisfy the engineering requirement on that. I guess we'll try to get hacking skill up here, but we're going to need to send a Raven for that. And that's going to take 6 mental energy. There's 2 of those, maybe a third visible here. Let's do this one first because it's closer. And looks like one more. I'm wishing there was a obvious one for Nickelbots, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like Nickelbots are just going to be out of luck. Soul Droid or Tech +20. So many options. I think the right option is probably to just keep raising the hacking skill. What is your hacking skill now? 322. Okay, maybe it doesn't matter so much. Not really sure what a port mech is or if it's worth giving it engineering skill though. And I wish I could separate these projects because I think that's the only gadolinium mesosilicate project left. Yeah, so I think there's only, oh, these ones too. Okay, so there's 2 different options. We can either get more hacking skill, or we can just get a 20 bonus engineering skill. What's our tech's engineering skill? 455. Yeah, I think we're good there. So I think the right one to do here is these, just to increase the hacking skill. I don't think this will affect our nickel bots. Okay, with 2 mental energy left though, let's just move a lever and maybe get this one to do it. Yeah, we'll do it here. There we go, gadolinium mesosilicate project completed. That probably gave us a new building, right? And Android optimization, we can pick an upgrade for that. Maybe we could get engineering skill through this. Hardened, faster, or hardened. Hardened Dynadroids, kind of useless. Hardened port droids, also kind of useless. Faster Ox droids is not so bad, although I'd eventually have them being in a ship. Faster port droids is actually very nice because we do move them around a lot for build support. let's do that one. We have 2 turns left on the infiltration. We want to finish the protection required project next. And we want to check to see if any new buildings are available. Nope. No new buildings. I expected a new building to come out of this for some reason. Gadolinium mesosilicate. Maybe not. Maybe we're just going to capture it somehow. It's a regular resource. And we need a bastnasite precursor and delicate industrial processing. So right, I thought we had a... Last time we discovered this, I thought there were a bunch of buildings came with it. Maybe that will come soon. No more mental energy this turn, nothing else to build. Let's move on to the next turn. Where are... Here we are. Okay, 2 turns left. Turn 62. 1 to go. Still no damage on the Keanu. Seems very safe. What is this? Full Metal Myth. Okay, this is the where we get the buildings. Inserting yourself into human myths. Right. What do we need for that? 220 engineering skills, so we can do that. We also have exploiting a federated corp, so we could get wealth there. Let's do both of those and see if we can't get a dragon back up in this timeline. We'll go Full Metal Myth here. Location is Hidden Syndicate housing. Inserting yourself into human myths is dangerous, to say the least. However, you've already heard the Wastelanders call you the Mind in the Sky, so they already started it. There are 2 solid options from their mythology to make them more compliant. You're not sure which is the wiser course. It probably matters. So we could create their deity or their mythical nemesis. We did their deity last time. Yeah, let's make their nemesis. I'm not sure it will matter. They didn't really help us much last time except for getting in contact with the exocorp that then proceeded to try to kill us. Let's see if they're making their nemesis in this timeline makes a difference. The other things we want to do are to continue our protection required project. And right, there was one other contemplation, 1 or 2 other contemplations we wanted. We do have this repair crabs one way down here, which we can send someone to. Don't think that's super critical. We also have this one here, and we should really send someone there. That is cognition. Do you have the 200 cognition required there? You do. That's 6 mental energy to get you all the way down there. Yeah, let's do it. Forcible Atomic has subdivided itself into 18 smaller corporations, and it has delegated a lot of its authority to each of them in various ways. Forcible maintains control partly by pitting these federated corporations against one another, having them compete in a veneer of capitalism. There may be an opportunity here because of this intense competition, which often involves physical violence between federated corporations. To see if that's true, you'll need to steal and analyze quite a bit of data in order to see if there are any targets for you to exploit. That's another data steal that we'll have to work on after we finish the telecom data steal next turn. We also want to complete the corporate ladder first. Really have no idea how we're going to get our Nickelbot engineering skill up, but it's going to probably start in this street sense where we need to send you to do some of these. We can get port mech, engineering, and intimidation. That seems reasonably close. Max mech capacity also seems reasonable. Intimidating security gives our shell company operatives some cognition. That wouldn't be so bad. Let's send you there to do that one. That is in a mine area, so I'm not sure if that will... Yeah, you need security clearance there, buddy. Okay. So I guess the Raven's going to be responsible for these over here. Gonna intimidate security here. Could do that 5 times. We can also get our max mech capacity up. We'll do that. And we'll intimidate security some more. It looks like we could do one more. It's probably going to be Intimidate Security unless there's another one that stands out. Strength Training. Shell Company Operative Combat Power. Yeah, let's do that one. We can't reach it, so we can... Oh, she's out of moves. And we're out of mental energy. That explains it. And we're out of time for this episode. Okay, well, you saw it here first. This is... Looks like we'll be done with both protection required and the stealing of the telecom data next turn. We'll probably have to decrypt it after that, I would guess. But stay tuned next episode when we tackle those challenges. Progress seems to be advancing pretty rapidly suddenly. Hope you can join me then. If you're enjoying this series, don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and this has been Corknut. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye for now.